Let's go Bucks. Bucks abroad, episode 7. 3-3 inexcusable road trip this past week. Had the off day Monday, some just terrible lineups that got produced. Sheehy comes back to us this week. Last week the Wi-Fi was down. I come at you in a new location. Finally made it to my next stop. Hopefully, who knows how long I'm going to be here, but I'm in Buckhead, right outside of Atlanta. Beautiful location. Bucs are coming to town at the end of June, and I'll be reporting live from the scene there. How we
Got
doing
the
this week,
internet
guy?
squared away. Got the internet squared away this week outside the nation's capital, just in time to watch this pitiful road trip. I'm getting deja vu, big brain. I'm getting deja vu back to the first 6 episodes where the Bucks end up four games, 3 games under 500.
It seems like it's the same thing every time. It's either we're like 4 or 5, or we've never been 2 or 1. I don't think it's always 3 or 4. But we brought to you a couple new segments this week. I'm going to roll them in again. Top 5 of the week. Top 5 of the week. We got number 5, Carmen Moldzinski. I like to call him the Zinner, and I spell it Zynner. And rough start whenever he came back in from being hurt in his rehab assignment. But since then, he's had 2 of those great starts in the bullpen games. He's been electric when he comes in. He is an electric stuff. He's one of those arms in the bullpen that we need in those middle innings. Carmen Zinner, number 5.
Yeah, good pick here. Did well again today in the bullpen game. He's been solid. You got a little bit of the Moldzinski hair going there, big brain yourself, but I think, guys, it's got a bright future here. We really need that middle relief to come through, and I think he could be the guy. Also, really need to get Hunter Stratton back off the IL. If you can get those 2 guys rolling, I think we got a good middle bullpen.
I agree. And number 4, the milker, Chapman. Chapman has been nice. Oh yeah, baby.
He has been nice.
He's been nice. When he doesn't walk, guys, he's unhittable.
When he can find the strike zone, it's crazy. Watching him, I mean, the guy's got to wear a 28-48 pants. It's crazy. The dude's got some just long legs and a skinny waist. Watching him pitch, you see that 103 miles an hour coming right off the hips. Right off the hips, big brain. He's unhittable when he's on. Unfortunately, when he's off, he's really off. But, the only thing with the milker, he does come with a big ticket and a big price tag on his head, so he really needs to be more consistent. But he's been fine. He's been pretty good. They pitch him in the 7th.
That's what I'm saying. He's been consistent on the road stand here, so that's why he got the 4 spot. But he needs to prove that over the long run for $10 million. But it's still crazy that we have the milker in a Pittsburgh Pirate uniform.
He seems like a good guy in the clubhouse too. Guys like him. I love that a couple weeks ago. Thought he gave up the home run. McCutchen comes in, making fun of him in the dugout. Like the passion. Let's keep it rolling.
Number 3, keep it rolling right here. I think he's on a 12-game hit streak. I could be wrong here. I'll look that up after and add it in if I am wrong. Bryan Reynolds. Bryan Reynolds has been hot. He's been a great bat in the lineup. He's never going to be the issue in this lineup. He's always going to get hits. He's been coming up better in clutch moments with runners in scoring position when we need a run. He's been that consistent bat that we've had. And he gets the number 3 spot this week. He's had a couple big hits over the course of the games, but he gets the 3 spot because 12-game hit streak. I think he's on his way to another All-Star game, potentially, maybe. What's underrated about Bryan Reynolds is the outfield. I think he's leading the league in the outfield with assists. So I could be wrong there as well. But I don't know. I've seen a lot of Bryan Reynolds gun downs at third base and at second base.
Yeah, Bryan Reynolds, he needs to be consistent. He needs to be this bat in the lineup they can rely on. He got a nice contract for himself here in Pittsburgh. Well liked guy coming through. Always hot in June. Brian Reynolds, number 3.
Number 2, I have a lot of bullpen guys in here. Luis Ortiz. My God, I didn't touch on him enough on the last episode, but holy shit. Who cares about Roansy Contreras? We got Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz is the long bullpen guy. Shout out Josh Fleming, pitched a great game today, but Luis Ortiz, he got electric stuff. He looks great. Comes in 4 innings pitched, back-to-back games, no earned runs or 1 earned run, and when we can have that, not saying that I want a bullpen game every 5 days, but whenever a guy goes out there and he's struggling or he's not feeling too well, gets hurt, we know we have a guy that we can go be like, we need 3 to 5 innings out of you, and he can give it to us.
Yeah, I like Luis Ortiz as well. He's scheduled to start against Tampa the 21st, so they do have him
Wow.
slotted in there to pitch. I think he did well. Got the win in Game 1 in Colorado, and he's been consistent. Good arm.
And number 1, he's been the best hitter on the team since the call-up. I think he should make the All-Star team. Nick Gonzalez. He is so fucking good. It's unreal. He is so good.
Ever since he got called up last month with Skeens, he's been just dialed in at the plate. I expect to hit every time he gets up there. He fields well. He does everything well. That's the guy that he came up last year, got a taste of the show, was down in AAA earlier this year. He came up, and I'll tell you what, he's refusing to go back to Indy. He's earned a spot on this roster the rest of the year. He's your everyday second base.
And the beauty about him, too, he can spot check at shortstop and at third base, too. But I love him being the everyday second baseman. He's the hottest hitter on the team. He's the best hitter on the team right now. He should not sit, but rarely. He should be sitting every 5 days or something like that. Him being out of the lineup the one day was absolutely ridiculous. But we can get into the 2 series. The Cardinals series, we win Game 1. Skeens goes out there. The fucking Cardinals fans give him a standing ovation. Are you kidding me? If Pittsburgh ever did that to St. Louis, to Cincinnati, to Chicago, or Milwaukee, they should be ashamed of themselves. That was absolutely asinine and pussy shit that they did that. I couldn't believe that. I could not believe that.
I couldn't believe it either myself. That's the type of baseball game I like to watch. 2-1 pitchers duel. Skeens, his best stuff was out there. He's incredible. We get him tomorrow. But a good win there. Looked like we were going to get off to a potential sweep of the Cardinals. Probably should have swept the Cardinals. But Paul Skeens was just nails. That's what we expect of him. You talk about Gonzalez going to the All-Star game. We really need to see Skeens in the All-Star game, and baseball needs to see Skeens in the All-Star game.
Potentially could happen. And then Game 2, Falter didn't pitch terrible, but the bats were just not there. They weren't there that whole Cardinal series. We just got Sonny Gray pitched a great game, but we had chances. In the first inning, we had a chance to score a run, couldn't produce. We had so many chances, guys at first and second with nobody out, guys at second and third with 1 out, and just couldn't get anything done. We lose Game 2, and then kind of in the same fashion, that's how we lost Game 3. And the lineup that we produced in Game 3, I'm going to read this over. The lineup that we produced in Game 3 was Ke'Bryan Hayes starting first batter, Brian Reynolds DH, O'Neal Cruz batting third, shortstop, Eddie Olivares cleanup right field, Rowdy fifth, first base, Jared Triolo second base, Jack Suwinski left field, Yasmani Grandal catcher, Michael Way Taylor center field. That's one of the worst lineups I've seen since like the 2022 Buccos, and there were some terrible lineups in those 2022 Buccos. That's inexcusable of a lineup in a game, in a rubber match game against the division rivalry that you're playing for the first time, and you sit guys like Andrew McCutchen, Nick Gonzalez, and then Henry Davis, who just hit a home run the game before.
Yep. You got to get Henry Davis up there, and you got to get him to hit. It's crazy. You got to try and find some consistency. Derek Shelton has got to go for the win in these series. It makes no sense to me what type of lineup he's going with here. Yeah, the Bucs are in it, but it's really time to start gaining some ground. We did gain one game from last week, but it's just not enough. No reason the Pirates should not be 500 right now, and you would be right there if you take these two games from St. Louis. Well, we did take one, but those other two games are winnable. Bats were not there. I believe in
Just
that
taking
series.
one of those two games that's all we needed. We just needed to win the series. That's it.
The crazy stat I saw, and I'd have to check it again, but game 2 and 3, no extra base hits for the Pirates, and that's just unacceptable. But when you're sitting guys like McCutchen and Gonzalez, those dudes that are really producing those, it just doesn't make any sense.
Agreed. Couldn't agree more. And then we move on to Colorado. I mean, Colorado fucking sucks. I don't have anything really much to say about this series. Like, we should have swept them, but then, Jared Jones is he probably the worst ballpark for him to pitch in is Colorado, because he's a pop fly type of guy, and in that elevation, their balls are just gonna fly. And he got rocked. So I mean, that game was still winnable too, and we just kind of shut down, and then we keep pitching these terrible, terrible, terrible bullpen guys over and over again for I don't know what reason. Do we just? I don't think the thing is too. I was looking at the AAA roster. The pitchers are terrible down there too.
Yeah, I think Shelton just throws so many bullpen arms each game because a lot of these games are tight. But with the Pirates' inconsistency in the bullpen, he's not letting these guys run 1 and 2 innings. He's letting them run 1 inning, bring in the next arm, and that guy is just, it's a 50-50 coin toss. And you can't have that at this point in the season. I'd like to see them add a bullpen arm at the deadline. There's many glaring needs on this team, but I think with especially this past series and the past couple of times we've seen number 5, Molzinski, that's the type of guy you need that can go out there and give you 2 innings. Hunter Stratton, who's on the IL, type of guy can give you 2 innings. You save some of these arms. But when these guys are pitching every day, you just cannot expect that. So, I don't know. It's a tough situation with the bullpen. There's some questionable pulls that Shelton's been doing all year. A game like you're playing in Colorado, right? Like game 2 last night. Get absolutely shelled. Yeah, I understand you pulling Jared Jones, but eventually a good manager just realizes when the game's lost and you just got to throw in a guy that's just going to get you through the rest of the game. There's no reason to waste these arms. The game was lost. It was 10-4. Yeah. Just pitch whoever out there. Ben Heller situation. It don't matter. Get through, save the arms, and move on. It's going to happen. Jared Jones got lit up yesterday. He's a rookie. You're right on the money with he's a pop fly guy. He's got 3-pitch arsenal. He does throw a decent amount of strikeouts, but with him, he doesn't have that quite dominant level of Paul Skeens that's just ready to go right now. Looks like a major league Cy Young winner. But Jared Jones is going to be just fine. He's going to get lit up eventually. Agreed. And it won't be the last time he gets lit up. But
just think, just a couple games ago, maybe his last start, I think he just shut down the Dodgers. So
yeah, he's a good young arm. He's going to be around for a while, and it just is what it is. There's just that game was hilarious. It was abysmal.
But let me talk about that game. I need to say something right now. Yasmani Grandal, I don't want to see him in a fucking Bucco uniform ever again.
Oh, I was getting there. The fact that we're playing Major League Baseball and you're giving up uncontested stolen home plate play is unbelievable. I like Jared Jones's reaction to that play. Just basically threw his hands up and what the hell are you doing? What are you doing?
Lollipopping a ball back. Like I am sick of him. He makes way too many mistakes at catcher. Like the thing about Yasmani Grandal, he sometimes he'll come up with a hit and it's like, oh, but then you look and he's batting 170 and you're like, what the fuck? But then he makes so many mistakes catching that it's just inexcusable. And Jason DeLay played today, and you know what? I'm perfectly fine with Jason DeLay because guess what? You know what you're going to get from Jason DeLay. He's going to bat 200, but you're never going to get a mistake behind the plate.
Yeah.
And
And
you know what? At this freaking point in the season, that's all we need at catcher because we can't have Henry Davis who is batting 150 and making mistakes behind the plate, but he has like raw power. So it's like, I wish he could be, but then we can't have Yasmani Grandal doing that
yeah.
too. So
It,
I'm fine with delay. And I want Joey Bart back. Where the hell is he?
well, he was dealing with that injury a little bit. The thing is with Henry Davis and the Pirates catching has just been a carousel all year. Yasmani
It's been a
Grandal,
carousel for a long
yeah.
time.
Unfortunately, with Endy Rodriguez just blowing his ACL way before the season, that sucks.
Tommy
But you
John,
really would have liked to
not
see Henry
ACL.
Davis take that step and be your everyday catcher for the most part. If you got to throw in a guy like Grandal every 3-4 days, and you know you're not going to get any production, but he's just got to call a good game and not make many mistakes. I get that he's a veteran; he's been around a long time, but that was embarrassing for a veteran to make a play like that,
Embarrassing.
giving off a
That
key
was a
like
play
that.
that Henry Davis would have made, and it's
Yeah,
like you get mad, but you're like, all right, like he's
that's
only
just
caught
getting
like 60 major league games or whatever.
That's just pure laziness behind the plate. Pure laziness. Today, Jason DeLay put the game away for the Buccos, had 2 doubles today. Yeah, he's not going to produce like that most days, but he's going to be fine. The thing with Jason DeLay, it's just like you're saying, you know exactly what you're getting with him.
Yeah,
Guy
he's
was
like
going to
Jordy
retire from
Mercer.
baseball. Buccos
Remember
brought him up
Jordy
2 years
Mercer?
ago. Oh, do I remember Jordy Mercer?
Like Jordy Mercer, he was a great fielder, never made a mistake, but he just would go up there and he'd bat like 218 every year,
Yeah.
and it'd be like, you know what, like that's fine.
Yeah.
But
No, I hear
so
you. I just,
we we got this is the biggest series of the year so far coming up right here. Home series. We got 3 of our 4 big dogs pitching, but game 1 we saved him for this game. Was it to sell tickets? I don't know, but I don't care. I would rather him pitching against Cincinnati than against Colorado than a meaningless game against Colorado. Paul Skeens pitching game 1 against a bum ass, bitch ass Cincinnati Reds. That is my most least favorite team in the major leagues. I can't stand them. I can't stand anybody on that team. Ellie Dela Cruz can fuck off. I don't have much more to say other than that. I got a lot more to say. But 3 huge games at home, first series against the Reds. Like I said, this is the biggest series of the year.
yeah, both teams with the same record right now. The bottom half of the NL Central is a war. The thing is whichever team comes out of that bottom half is probably going to make a wild card game. Uh, they're going to get one of the wild card spots. I like that Paul Skeens is starting this game. Game 1 gives you a real good chance to start out 1-0. Bailey Falter, tough outing last time he was there, but he's had good stuff. Paul Skeens' ERA 2.43. That's significantly dropping by the day. He's 3-0. He's got electric stuff. You know exactly what you're going to get. I can't get enough of this guy. The baseball world can't get enough of this guy. And we also have the big rivalry between O'Neill Cruz and Bertram, Ellie De La Cruz.
O'Neill needs to be fire. And I think that seeing Ellie De La Cruz is going to spark something in O'Neill. You got to hope.
You got to hope. This is a big
I need to
series.
see one in the Allegheny against the Reds. Like, please.
This is a big series for us. I'm very excited for this. Like I said, the winner of this series is in a great spot in the NL Central. Gotta have this one. Simply gotta have this one. And I think that's what Shelton knows, and that's why he rested. He did the bullpen game today. It was fine. I don't want to keep going back to the Colorado series, but that's a bad baseball team. You can get away with doing that. In games you really need to win, you really need Skeens, Jones, or Keller out there. Now, Bailey Falter's been a solid number 4 in the rotation, and he does give
Absolutely.
you a good chance to win. But with Skeens and Keller on the mound, especially Mitch Keller broke that 6-game win streak. Uh, like I said, professional baseball, you're going to have that.
Yep.
Obviously, wasn't going to go on all year. Uh, Lost a very winnable game. I think he's going to come out, have a good start on Wednesday, and we're going to get this series done.
Agreed. Let's wrap the show up with the bum of the week and the random buck of the week. We'll keep it short. I'll keep it as short as I can. My bum of the week, number 17, Derek Shelton. At some point, you got to have your guys back out there. There's too many times where the umpires are being ridiculous, not like making terrible calls that guys are like looking at balls and they're getting called at strike three. You got to go out there and defend your guys. There's terrible calls out there. He looks like a statue out there. Doesn't look like he knows what the hell he's doing. The lineups he's been putting out there, and it makes you think that like when he plays guys like Grandal, Eddie Olivares, Rowdy, and Michael A. Taylor all in one lineup, we all signed those guys this offseason. And all four of those guys are batting 210 and under. So
yeah, it's bad.
I will say Rowdy's been hot in June. But like when you start those four guys, it's like, what are we doing here? So 17's the bum of the week for me.
Bum of the week for me, touched on it earlier. Number 6, Yasmani Grandal. Hard to keep him off this list this week. One of the worst plays I've ever seen in professional baseball. You don't see that mistake in Pony League, let alone professional baseball. He's got to be my bum of the week. I'm fine with number 17, Shelton, being your bum of the week, but give me Yasmani Grandal. And unfortunately, I don't think it'll be the last time he makes it on this list.
God. All right, you start off one the show, the random bucko of the week. You hit me first.
The random bucko of the week. Like I said, I went Yasmani Grandal for my bum of the week. We touched on the carousel. We're going to talk about a guy that's been on the Buccos. He was on the Buccos' 6-year career, solid behind the plate. Random bucko of the week, Ryan Domit.
Oh, the donut.
The donut.
The donut was on some bad teams. Zach Duke, Paul Maholm. I have about 60 bobbleheads of each of those guys. My random bucko of the week, he threw heat out of the bullpen in those early 2010 teams. Brad Lincoln had a nasty goatee. He threw about 95 miles an hour. He was a big little bulldog. Brad Lincoln, the random bucko of the week. 6 big games at home.
Good random bucker of the week, Ben. I know we didn't touch on the Tampa series, but I am just so focused on Cincinnati. We don't even need to touch. We don't even need to touch it.
Who gives a rat's ass about Tampa Bay? We're talking about Cincinnati. Let's go Bucs. Beat Cincinnati, and then we'll worry about Tampa Bay. Let's go Bucs. Take it easy.